Welcome to the Dungeon House, where a bunch of regular people with regular jobs gather to play Dungeons and Dragons. We aren't professionals, so if you hear food ASMR or a baby in the back, just understand it's normal. This show is recommended for those 13 and up. The music you'll hear is brought to you by William Heaton and various other artists. We're glad that you're here to share in the fun and laughter, as well as the challenges along the way. So come on into our home, take a seat on the couch, and enjoy the Dungeon House.
Those you would have to run to actually pay rent. Oh, I know, right? And depends on how much are you? How do you charge? Is it a flat rate per game? You just have to buy your hour.
I think you do it by hour.
Yeah, we're doing a 4-hour shuffle. Yeah.
David, what mode is your mic set to?
Mine?
Yeah.
Directional? Mine.
Send it to omnidirectional so that way it can pick up everyone.
Everybody's talking now. Hello?
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 Okay.
Is that better?
A little bit. Everyone seems a little quiet, but that's okay.
We'll just talk louder. Hopefully, I'll just we'll literally eat the microphone. I'll leave it. Are we live?
Yeah.
Wow. Are we live? Yeah. Good. No, I think we're there. It says 6:31. Is it not? Are you watching?
6:30. There you go.
Oh. What?
We're live.
Boy,
it's 6:31.
Oh,
Anyway,
slow. So
we are live. We are alive as well. Hopefully. Find out. As time goes on. Hopefully. How's everyone's week? It's been a while since we played D&D.
yes, it is.
I was like, huh?
No, it's just a small chat. No, that's terrible.
He's on his calendar right now because he will be too excited to come.
Too many new people, too many things, lots of zoomies.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that though. Today we're doing an in-person session with those who usually aren't. We're pretty excited about. We have Brandon. We have Joy. We have David. We have Faith.
Yeah.
We have Kyle joining us from California again. And then we have McKay with joining from back at home. And Tori is going to be listening in tonight, which we are so excited to have everyone here for a fun session. Hopefully. I believe it will be. I think, is there anything else that we'll just jump in. Before we do that though, I need a recap. I remember who I had last week. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Brandon.
I don't get it. I'm getting up in right.
Joy, has it been a while? I feel like maybe I've called on you pretty recently.
I don't know.
I think I called on McKay last time though.
Oh, yeah. What I can still do it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well,
Okay.
you do it.
So, last time, Barren, Adelaide, and Pinky made a very good escape from being caught and punished for their sneaky little mission to go see Barren's sister. We talked about how everyone kind of changed over the course of the training. We did some training stuff, and then we went through the initiation ceremony, where we met once again the leader of the Vigils, who welcomed us in and gave us each our little Vigil pendant, whatever we wanted it to be, with the center stone kind of changing color to match each person's personality. We were given a quick tour of the lighthouse, but very quickly sent off on our first mission.
With what happened, you guys are skipped off, whisked literally away as you are misted by the teleporter to the city of castles, also known as Havnok.
It's still a little
Before-
hard to hear you, just so you know, sorry. I don't know, Kyle, are you having the same problem?
Yeah, I'm having the same issue. Just a little tricky.
How about that?
Yeah,
That-
I just thought-
Yeah.
that sounds great.
That's a lot better.
I'm just gonna yell.
I just not whispering even.
Yeah. I will literally just have to speak louder. Okay. Well, as you guys reach the city, you are entreated in a room that's very similar to the one that you all started off in, except for Alia and Ren. You've actually never seen one of these places before, Ren. But Alia, you've seen them in your childhood. You've seen one. This is the teleporter room of Vigil outpost. Most of the time it's used as kind of a place that can store beds, places like that where Vigils can sleep while they're on their missions, or places that they can come back to, things like that. It's also where you were all teleported and whisked away from when you were first joining the Vigils. This time, though, as you open the door, you see kind of an older gentleman sitting at the counter of this outpost. And you look outside the window, and you can see what looks to be a city that is literally, it gets its name pretty clearly from the architecture of, it looks like castle upon castle upon castle has been built as alleyways of different battlements and different sized portcullises and different, almost in a chaotic sense, has been splattered and built together and then repaired and broken and built together again, as this city has not necessarily any real rhyme or reason as you look at almost maze-like exterior. You see that this building that you're on must be on one of the higher walls of the city, because you can see down from where you're at, looking down to this maze-like system of buildings and passages underneath, and you've reached the city of Havnok.
So is it like, instead of skyscrapers, it's castles?
Yes,
That's cool.
yeah. So it's like
Are there like moats in the mixture? Or is that
you
like,
would see,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. You would see like moats. You'd
Like
see
drawbridges and like
yeah,
just full like
checkpoints.
Lego castle sets, just kind of
Put
together.
Yeah, I was thinking about bringing my 8 Lego set castle sets, but I didn't have enough space. That was going to be the battle map for today.
and you didn't want to break it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to put back together.
It took like a long time to build it with your brother.
Good memories though. As the man who's running the stand here, this older gentleman kind of looks you up and down. I'd like you all to kind of describe, as you were given right before you left your Vigil CDS. We'll say basically you were given the chance after you were given them to kind of, by a wizard, customize them to suit your personal style. I would like to go around and kind of ask each character, what did you do with them? Like, where did you put them? Did you make it a pin? What's the vibe that you're getting? Opal, would you be willing to start us off?
So Opal turned it into a long necklace with a very simplistic chain, the type of metal that matches her armor. What color that is, I don't remember, but it's a good one. So she did that, and she will put it underneath her armor so it's not shown, so her pendant's not seen.
Perfect. Ren, what about you?
Can I choose what metal it's made of as well?
Sure.
Is that, like,
I mean, his was specific. Most of them were kind of going to be like a generic color, but
maybe I'll put like a stain on it.
yeah, you're kind of like you're up there like rubbing it with charcoal or something
Yeah,
like
like
that.
I found this gray. I don't know. I was thinking sort of like a
coppery sort of color metal, and like copper like oxidizes and turns kind of green.
Yeah, it has a little.
Like it's got some of that going on. And then like the gem in the middle is this sort of like not necessarily opalescent, but it's like dark, but also has that like kind of like oil in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Kind of looks sort of like that, or like a shell surface. And I wear it on the cloth I have wrapped around my waist as kind of like a clip, like those like toga clips.
Yeah.
But like down there, keep it on, keep it firm. I don't want it to get lost.
Girding up those.
Girding up the loins. Yeah, you got it.
All right. Pinky, how did you integrate the insignia into your look?
Yeah, so I don't know if I've really ever described Pinky very well, but she has this big pink kind of a witch hat, but a little bit more fairy-esque, and she's gonna clip it like right where like the brim starts to kind of come out. It's gonna clip. It's kind of big for her because she's very small, so like it looks kind of like an oversized clip on her hat, just like a little pin.
A little like wrestling.
Yeah. It's like a literal dinner plate attached to
But just kind of off to the side, kind of cutesy-like, and the little thing in the center is pink, of course, to match everything else.
Yeah, I was thinking about when you answered the color of the gemstone being pink. I was like, the SpongeBob meme where it's SpongeBob and the guy's ordering the food and he's like, daring, are we? It's just from everything's pink. It's awesome. I love it.
It's a bold move.
It is a very bold move. All right, Alia.
Alia, what she's going to do is she's going to turn it into a side pin for her hair. So kind of be like
a hair clip.
Yeah.
A pin.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's really cute.
Oh, thanks.
Moss, what'd you do with the clip thing button?
So Moss was torn and didn't really know exactly what to do with it. And so he just sort of has it in one of his pockets right now as he's still trying to figure out what exactly to do with it.
He just shakes it every once in a while, listens to it.
Like he stares at it and he's like, I don't know.
Still trying to tune to it.
He still believes.
It's the bell.
Moss actually communicates with it, speak to the ancestors of old. So
I like that.
Yeah, Moss is still figuring it out.
Yeah, it's okay. He took it, didn't really know what to do with it, felt kind of weird about it, just put it in his pocket.
The worst is he put it into one of his patches on his very patchy jacket, and so the reality he doesn't know where it's at right now.
Yeah, he knows it's somewhere on his person, but where that is, it's questionable.
Yep.
Barren, what did you choose?
So on the side of Barren's waist, kind of from like his pants pocket, you can see a chain coming out, and then from that chain is what looks like a pocket watch with the insignia on the pocket watch. It doesn't quite fit Barren.
It seems a little bit too kind of nice for the kind of gruff fighter that you know, but seems to be wearing it with pride nonetheless. If I remember correctly, Adelaide decided to use hers as a hairpin, but we'll let her eventually correct that with however she would like to integrate that into her style. So as you guys all appear and walk out of the teleporter room of this outpost, the attendant is sitting there and he looks at all you and says, looks like you finally made it. You're the ones called here to figure out the problem?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
What is the problem?
Oh, they didn't tell you?
Were we told? I don't think
No, we've been told.
I don't remember.
There was no questions asked, and you guys just went for it.
It's
we
been
asked.
a long month.
I was going to say, we asked,
And then they said that they would tell us when we got there. So here we are. It looks like the information that he was given and they were given a little different. So maybe he was thinking they were going to tell you. But as you kind of explain that you guys don't know, and he'll have to explain, he's like, all right, I can tell you. So we've really been seeing some strange occurrences here a little recently in the Redwall district of the city. It's strange signs. Looks like people getting sick. Some people say there's some children that have gone missing, and I heard some other strange activity kind of going on. It started maybe a day or two ago. First thing noted was children gone missing, and from then on, it's been heard that a couple of people have been getting sick. So we figured, since the sickness didn't seem quite normal, we'd give you guys a call in and get someone to kind of start looking at it.
This is in the Breadwall district?
Yes,
I like that name.
the Redwall district.
Well, the district, sorry.
Yeah, it's one of the kind of the districts of the city. It's kind of known for its pastries, its bread, kind of things like that. It's more towards the. It's not necessarily like super low class, but it's not super upper, like mid class. So it's kind of a little bit more just your average Joe kind of lives there. And so, well, been kind of hearing these strange rumors about that. So, but yeah, if you get a chance, you should probably try some of their the baguettes, some of the different oven baked goods that you can get there. It's been something that I've very much enjoyed since my time being posted here in Zahovic. It's a good ways away from here. We're sitting right now at the Venti Plaza. So it's about like a 2-3 hour walk from here to get there. Just going through the city's skate.
I'm sorry, you
It's
said
in the city.
Yeah, in the city.
Okay. They're not public transit?
I mean, the best transit is to stay on the high walls. They can get you, but they're usually fairly crowded still because that's what everyone else uses. There's not necessarily a lot of places that has a lot of good, like, carriage-drawn places unless you're getting more towards the Red Towers or the Jade Towers or even up into the Speared Peaks.
Of course.
And sometimes, like right next to the Castle Wharf, you can get a little bit of transportation around there, but mostly in the dense urban area right here. From here to Venti Plaza, it's pretty packed.
All right.
Cool. So it's not that far of a walk. It's not ludicrously distant. It's mostly just because there's just a lot of people.
I'm sorry, but you said that people were getting sick.
Yeah.
So why have you just called like the local clerics?
Well, it's a good question. We usually do, but this one doesn't seem necessarily like a normal sickness per se, as well, you'll have to see it for yourself to kind of get a better
tell us
sense.
instead.
Yeah.
I was getting there. You guys are. You just need to be a little patient. I was saying that I can't fully describe what it looks like for you. I'm not that visual of a person.
I have a hard time with that.
Anyways.
Real
So-
fast, Chase.
Yeah.
As Moss is listening to this, Moss is sort of skeptical of the whole situation right now. So can Moss make an insight check on this fetcher?
Make an insight check.
Yeah, he's just skeptical. And and he got like a 23 on his skepticism.
I mean, like, from what you can tell, this guy seems to be an older Vigil, past his prime in actually going out and doing missions.
Okay.
And he doesn't seem to be a shady dude. He looks, and you can see like he on his around his neck he wears a necklace with the Vigil's insignia. He doesn't seem to be, with his speech, trying to lead you down the wrong path. He just doesn't seem to be. He wasn't prepared to give you like all the full details of the mission. He thought you guys would have been briefed prior to getting here.
Okay. Sounds.
That's more where it's coming from.
All right, I can work with that.
Basically, there's some sort of shadow substance that's coming out of the people, usually through bile, vomit, stuff like that. But it's not pretty. And with the local clerics, they've never seen anything like it, so we're kind of certain maybe there's something a little bit more going on. And with missing children, stuff like that, we figured it might not be bad to just send in a group of vigils just to help with the research as well, just in case something comes up.
So are we researching? What are we doing?
I'd say that your mission here is to get an understanding of what's kind of going on, figuring out what's going with the odd occurrence and investigate it first. That's the main priority. And then if you figure out what the problem is, if you can deal with it, then perfect. But main goal is to investigate and figure out what's going on. I mean, yeah.
With Alia, time she spent studying monsters and kind of stuff like that, does she have an idea of what it might be, or was she have an idea? Anything that would like when you said that when they're like vomiting and stuff like that, the black like smoke, right?
Yeah.
Would that be, I guess, a byproduct of any type of monster she knows about?
Make it either a history or maybe like a religion check. Like, I remember again, depending on what check you make, it may give you a different answer and stuff like that.
I'll do a history check. A natural 20.
A natural 20. That's pretty good. So, you know that there are plenty of monsters that have adverse effects on people and that cause things that are unnatural to happen to them, that are usually coined as like a sickness or ailment, though it may be something else entirely. Maybe not necessarily a complete curse, but almost kind of adjacent curse-esque thing. And so you know that there's many different types of monsters that can cause things like this, from like devils and demons and like undead, even to like some fae you could suspect would cause things to happen like this.
So Alia's, I guess, thought process of it is going to be some type of demon or like demonic type of monster.
Okay. Yeah. If that's what she wants to assume, she can do that.
Cool. Well, let's get going to Redwall District, shall we? Gang, figure out what's going on. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's good to meet you all. My name's Bral. If you guys need a place to hole up while you're in the city, stop by. We can give you a place to rest.
Just come back here.
If you want to, you can also find an inn if you feel like that would be more beneficial to finding information, things like that. But this is always an open door for you guys.
Awesome. Do you have any
recommendations on bread while we're in the bread ball district?
Yeah, there's actually a really good pub that also serves bread. It's that kind of thing. It's the Black Dragon Bakery and Brewery. There's a lot of B's in that name.
Alliteration there is really good.
It's known as the BDBB, Black Dragon Bakery and Brewery.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite places.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We'll have to check it out. Oh, let's get out of here.
Just keep going.
All right. As you guys are traveling, is there anything that you guys would like to do?
I think. Oh, you go first.
I think we should hit up that brewery first.
You hungry?
No. Most people tend to know things. It's a good place to get
right.
information.
Right.
If it makes you feel any better, Random, I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too. That's why I asked him.
Wait,
So,
we'll grab something to eat while we're there.
cool. I would like, while we're going, like maybe keep an eye out for people vomiting shadows.
Mhm.
You know, just that maybe we don't have to walk all the way there.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of science.
Whoa, what's going on? What's this? And, you know,
So right now you guys are in the, if I remember correctly how I said it, the Aventi Plaza, which is kind of the mid to upper echelon, but it's not like way crazy. It's nice neighborhoods and stuff like that from what you can tell, even though it's still very much packed in this plaza. You can tell that this seems to be more of an area of like culture of the city. As you're walking past, you can see that here there's a lot of stone masonry work. Throughout the city, it's very clear that masonry is a big part of their culture, as every single wall is built by stone and by mortar. But here, they've turned that into an art form, as you see gargoyles and different shapes, different figures, dotting even the streets and on the tops of buildings. Walking on most that you would see look to be kind of that simple classic gargoyle look, but instead of like the two horns, most of them have like two horns and then one larger one in the center. Instead of having two arms and wings, they have four arms and wings. So there's a little bit of a different feel to them. They all kind of have this almost kind of ominous look, though most of the people walking past don't even pay them mind or attention. Like, for an outsider, it might be kind of scary from your guys' perspective, but you look around and the common folk here don't even seem to bat an eye at it. Yeah.
He's gonna fly up to one and check it out.
You go and you tap on it. Feels like stone. You smell it. Smells like stone. Do you lick it?
I think you will lick it.
Pinky licks it. Even tastes like stone. Some sort of quarried stone that you build castles out of. You know, classic gray stone.
yeah, your rock
He's
stone.
assuming.
Yeah.
She's never seen.
You're like, oh yeah, let's chip some.
You
I
said...
can tell this basalt is very good quality. Go ahead, McKay. Sorry about
No,
that.
you're good. So, two things. One, people, are they all sorts of different races? Like, is it just like are they all kind of gruffer? And like, what's the weather like? Like, what are like? I guess I'm
Yeah,
just trying
let
to
me
visualize this a little bit more.
Let me give you a better visualization of the city. So I've kind of described how the castles are stacked on top of each other. And as you look around, the city looks like it's built almost in a cradle of mountains. Especially as you're going on this high wall, the easiest way to travel between different sections of the city. The city almost looks to be broken up into districts of walled areas. Like if they need to sanction off areas, whether from attack from the outside or from within, it would be quite easy to do so.
So we're like above on a wall, right? Looking, so like if we look down to either side, there's kind of like more like that's kind of like in the city.
Yeah. So like think of it kind of like in our world, like we have freeways that are kind of built up above that you would drive upon. In the city of castles, there's different walls and structures like this that have crossed over each other, and there's even sometimes there's a wall coming this way, and then they built a wall like through it and then tunneled out again to continue on, almost being kind of an amalgamation of different things. Going back to the geographic feel, you're nestled in what is known as the Grey Mountains. All the tallest mountains of this side of Yavna. Not the tallest of Yavna, but definitely they stand out. You can see not too far away from the city is the tops of these mountains still covered in snow. About halfway down, you're sitting more closer towards the valley, and you can see that line of where the mountain turns from white to gray and then to green, all kind of one season, one day. There's many different colors on that mountain. Think of it kind of like Switzerland, where they have snow on the top, yet the valleys are green and lush. That's very akin to what you would see far out from the city, as you're kind of more on one side of it. Right now, you would be on the west side, traveling east towards the bread wall. On the other side, though, to the north is the mountains, but to the south is the Torsillian River, which you can see is a wide river, which houses many barges on it. It looks like there's a lot of trade being done along this river. It must be kind of the lifeline to supply such a large dwelling of people at such an altitude and such a place.
Compared to where we were, like, are we appropriately dressed for this city, or like?
It would be cold for where you guys are at. You're not necessarily crazy uncomfortable, but you would notice, especially as you kind of go around, there's fire pits, places people have warmed. Right now, you're kind of in midday. Those fire pits aren't necessarily being really tended to. But the sun right now feels warm, but if you were to step in the shadow, it's kind of like it feels like it drops almost 15 degrees, and it gets pretty chilly. So you're definitely in the mountains and a lot colder of a region.
I'm gonna go buy a coat. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. Also, how much would a coat cost?
A coat? Are you looking for just a simple coat, or
What's the simple coat?
I would
Something
say
for one.
simple coat would probably run you around 5 gold pieces.
I will do. Alright.
Like how cold is it?
Right.
Fahrenheit.
Right now, you're probably sitting about, if you're in the sun, 50 to 55 degrees, but if you go into the colder, like into the shadow, like I said, it's probably down to like almost 35 degrees, to where it's like, ooh, it's kind of like you could, like, think of Utah weather early spring. Like you could probably wear a t-shirt and be fine if you're in the sun.
Yeah, like in the afternoon, like you go outside and you're like, it's a balmy day, it's nice, but it's still like 55 degrees.
Exactly.
Okay, because I'm just thinking, Moss, he's an old man with a frail old body. Doesn't have the insulation he used to have. He might join in grabbing not like a coat, but like a warm, fluffy thing.
Ooh, what kind of warm, fluffy thing would you like? just like a goat pelt.
Yeah,
Ooh.
he's gonna take
Poor Philip.
Poor Philip.
Yeah.
he's gonna take Philip off to the side, pull out his dagger, and just sort of skin him and make a little goat pelt.
Crons. Oh no. I'm assuming you don't do that. Would you like something akin to like a skin though that you could wrap
Yeah,
yourself?
just like a
Just like
cheap
a
skin.
scarf.
Yeah, a scarf.
Not too for just a scarf. While it doesn't provide as much protection, you already have kind of a cloak that keeps the wind out and stuff like that. I'd say that's probably only just like 1 gold piece for a good quality scarf. If you want not good quality scarf, you can get cheaper though.
Okay, we'll go good quality. Actually, have we gotten any money from the Vigils yet?
Nope.
Then Philip has no money, so never mind. Or Moss has no money.
You don't have any money?
Nope.
Even Pinky has money.
I'm gonna say yeah. Alia has money.
Guys, Moss is poor.
Baron
So I don't know
has no money.
If you remember correctly, the handler last session kind of told Barren this because he'd asked like, "Hey, what about money?" You don't get necessarily paid for your jobs until it's complete, until you kind of come back and fill out your report, and then once that's done, it's kind of a by job payment kind of idea. And so depending on how difficult it is and what you're able to get accomplished will kind of change your pay. So that's one nice thing is like if you're able to go out there and actually do a lot of stuff, you might get more, but you might not. And so, but the thing is with Vigils is especially if you're close to an outpost like you guys are, that can cover your board and your food. And same with if you're at the lighthouse, they'll cover food and board as well. So it's not necessarily like the greatest of and nicest ways to stay in any means, but it's definitely livable.
Sounds good.
Does your character? Do you want the scarf?
Yeah.
All right.
So Alia sees Moss
Yeah.
longingly staring at this scarf.
Yeah, I don't need it for sure, but you know these old bones, I don't want them freezing up in the middle of our adventure.
Oh yeah, no. I understand that. I have enough. I can spare some gold.
Hey, I owe you one. I owe you one.
All right, you have a scarf now.
Pinky.
Nice.
Yes? Or yes?
During last month, I heard that you were looking into missing children.
What?
Does this ring a bell? I forgot the guy's name already, but he mentioned missing children as well.
Well, I don't really know. The missing children part kind of does, but like there was no mention of like sickness when I was looking.
Well, I don't know if the missing people are also sick. These could
That's a good point.
be like not even related, for all we know, right?
Why were you looking into missing people?
Just say I have some family missing.
Alright.
As you guys continue walking, you do notice that there are all different kinds of races in the city, but you do see a majority of them being human and dwarf descent, with most of the other ones kind of tapering off, not necessarily seeing as much. Your group doesn't necessarily stand out too terribly wild from the commonality of everyone else. Besides,
It's like
The bright pink.
the bright
Flying
flying. You do get some looks by far. Like nothing like everyone's like, oh, it's a demon. We gotta burn her. But it's by far like Pinky. You get some gazes by walking through town. People are like, what the heck?
Whenever she sees it, she's going to smile and wave.
Smile and wave, boys.
Maybe, put in a hello every once in a while.
All right. Is there anything else that you guys would like to do as you're traveling? Eventually, you will make it to the bread wall. You see what this looks to be as the city is kind of built into the mountains. It looks like this was a portion that was kind of dug from underneath kind of the upper echelons. It's like a straight vertical wall, like 300 feet up, and it looks like they've built in houses and streets kind of going up it.
That's cool.
With kind of the switchback roads kind of heading up towards the top. Though it never necessarily reaches that. It looks like there's still kind of expansion going that direction. And you see, it looks like there's actually a lot of people going about, a lot of workers in kind of the masonry and construction going about trying to fix things as you kind of reach this area. As of right now, you haven't necessarily noticed anything in particular standing out to you of like sickness, though I would at this point call for someone to do a perception check / investigation check as you guys continue your way to the bar.
Are multiple people allowed to do it, or just one?
You guys can all do it. We'll see how it goes.
Natural 20,
Perception, right?
Yeah.
which is really good because perception is not good.
Got a 9.
I got 8.
8.
So,
Also an 8.
16.
14.
So, by far, Pinky, you're the one that's being able to perceive mostly what's going on. As you guys are heading towards the Black Dragon Bakery and Bar, or Brewery, which is kind of located halfway up the bread wall, you notice something kind of interesting. You notice that seems to be a lot of children out at this point, kind of mingling about, playing, going about their business as little kids. But as one that like tends to recognize more the joyful and youthful figures, it seems like there's a lot of kids out lately.
Like an overabundance of kids.
Yeah, they just seem like there seems to be a lot of kids playing in the streets and playing around, running through traffic. Looks like they're playing tag, specifically bread tag, which is they go into the dumpsters, they find the old bread, and they like have to throw it at each other. And if they get touched by the bread, then they get the bread touch. The bread. they get the, which means that they have to stop for 5 seconds, and then they can continue running unless they get touched after the bread touch.
Unless they catch the bread in their mouth.
If they catch the bread in their mouth, then they score 20 points.
Yeah.
I hope you all are writing down the rules for
Yeah.
bread tag, because it will be very important in this campaign.
I already forgot them.
Anyways,
Did they just look like happy kids?
happy kids.
Okay, there's not like an underlying like.
You'd have to do an insight check if you're.
Okay. I think he's gonna try and do it this thing.
Since you're the one that kind of has noticed it, we'll leave it up to you to see if you notice anything kind
That
of weird.
is. Oh, again. 13.
13.
Insights? Let me double check that. Yep, no, it's 13.
Is 13. Right now, it doesn't necessarily look like there's anything malicious with what they're doing. You just from what you can
And
see.
like, there's not an underlying fear in them.
No, they don't necessarily. Most of them actually look fairly like pretty happy
Okay.
right now.
Cool. Because, like, I don't know. When parents or siblings are sick, kids can still have fun. There's definitely reservedness to them.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of
just
interesting.
kind of looking for that because Pinky likes.
I guess you'd notice with an insight there seems to be like some kids that are more like that mellow, but there seems to be a couple of them that really seem to be kind of bringing the energy per se
Okay.
to the group, and they seem to be kind of uplifting the rest of them, kind of getting them excited for bread tag.
Cool.
The alphas.
The alphas and omegas. Just the alphas.
Okay.
As you guys make your way up the winding paths through this district, you notice like the smell of the air is rich with yeast and butter and milk and just fresh baked bread. It's very divine scent. You every so often though you get kind of a hint of almost kind of like a rancid smell, which kind of catches your nose off guard, but then it's quickly fought back by the rest of those delicious warm smells that bring a lot of comfort to you all.
I like it here. Do we see that brewery?
As you finally get up to about midway up the wall, as it continues up, the streets get narrower. That's the word. More narrow. And the buildings get more and more pressed and pushed as they actually excavate into the wall. You find this BDBB, as they say.
We made it. At long last.
As you enter in, you can see that the front door is kind of stylized in the picture of like a dragon who is like breathing out something into a mug. Like it looks like he's like standing there holding the mug, just like breathing his breath weapon into the mug.
That's awesome. That's good branding.
Yeah, it is. What are you gonna get, Ren? I'm just gonna get some bread. That's it. That's what the guy recommended. I wonder if they have soup. Maybe bread soup. Bread bowl. Ooh, a bread bowl. That sounds good.
Listen, we're not here to eat.
If we're not here to eat, then we're not here to get any drinks either.
I have no money for drinks.
Well, that's okay because I have money for food.
Will you cover me?
Let's go find something to eat. Money.
As you're standing there, Barren, as you're kind of a little frustrated with the camaraderie of the people in front of you. Pablo will step up beside you and just kind of pat you on the shoulder and say, "Fun apart. I understand. I've never been much of a bread man either."
Look, I'm just trying to get back to our apartment or whatever it is so I can rest.
I think he would like to play tag with the kids.
We will come back to you
Okay.
after a little bit. We're going to do the DBDD first.
Yes, I just wanted to say that she's outside with the kids. She didn't go in. So that you can leave me out of this thing.
She's not much into bread either.
Yeah, it happens.
You know,
Or just playing with kids.
everybody has two wolves inside of them. One likes them, one doesn't.
Child wolf.
Not how I remember it, but okay.
Maybe there was 3 wolves. I can't remember. Anyways, as you guys enter in the DBDD, or no, the other way around, the BDBB, you see kind of a smog, low-lit building with various tables and chairs kind of strewn about. It doesn't necessarily look like the cleanest place, but definitely the fresh baked bread. And you see what looks to be right behind the bar is a large bread oven. And you can look in there, you can see what looks to be rows upon rows of sheets of rolls that are rising. And it looks like they've molded and kneaded the bread to look like a dragon skull.
Question: are these collages?
Galoshes?
Yeah, collages.
Isn't that? Oh, I'm thinking galoshes like pictures.
I was thinking that's galoshes, like the boots.
I was like, well, that's not it.
Goulash.
What is a goulash? I'm sorry.
No, you could never have their skin.
It's,
So the roll,
Yeah, go ahead, David.
yeah, the roll that gets stuffed with things, right?
Ooh.
So it's like, for example, the one I had this morning was a roll stuffed with eggs and bacon and potatoes.
Ooh. Sure, why not? That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why the Black Dragon Bakery and Brewery would not do collages.
Yeah.
I mean, collages. Collages.
They like put it in the dragon skull, like the brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways, I love the thematicness. See what looks to be a large bar in front of you with different like tables strewn about, and you see what looks to be a younger gnome lady with kind of not necessarily super short hair, but kind of shorter to the shoulder, just barely to the shoulder length hair. Manning behind the bar, she is taking people's orders, bringing them drinks, and you see what looks to be another younger gnome as well behind her, kind of manning the oven, bringing out these different rolls and different breads to the people.
Okay. Does it look like there's like really like only like this one type of bread? Like they just specialize like bulk making these rolls.
It seems like that's probably their most popular thing, but they could probably make something for you special order.
Okay, well I'm gonna get what's most popular. That's probably what the man recommended.
Yeah, so like as you come up to the bar, I'm assuming everyone besides Pinky is going to be coming out to everyone. He said, or I guess you'd probably come up to the woman first. She says, well, howdy doody, how y'all doing? This here is the Black Dragon Bakery and Brewery. We're glad to have you here. If you want some bread, just let me know what you want and I can bring it to you. If you want something a little stronger, you can also let me know. Yeah, I can bring it to you. My name's Mo. I'll be serving you all today. If you need anything, just let me know. I am here for you.
When you say something stronger, are you referring to the bread or the drink?
Yes, both actually.
I like that.
Wait. As she says both, Moss is going to be like, you mean this bread can make me go a little happy?
I mean, we can find out.
Adelaide.
I don't know, because like honestly, in my personal opinion, it really comes from where you're coming from originally. If you're not in a happy position, it's probably not going to heighten that. Anyways, that's besides.
Moss is zoning out the explanation, and he's gonna be like, Alia, I need more money.
what do you want?
Need some of this happy bread.
Is the happy bread just the normal bread?
Yes.
Is that
There is some bread that they just take, and it's like twice baked. That's like, so it's a little bit crispier. And there is some of them that are like actually like soaked in alcohol, which is kind of like,
or like instead of using water in the recipe, you use alcohol?
though that would bake it out.
It would bake it out.
So
Because
it's
I guess bread would be alcoholic anyways.
yeah, the yeast and stuff like that. So it's
It's like dragon magic.
Yeah.
But what about magic?
very much easily able to figure out a way that we can make bread in a high magic setting intoxicating.
Well, I would like a regular bread.
Just regular bread?
Yes. I'll point to a specific one in the oven. I'll say, that one right there looks delicious.
You notice that one, the eyes are a little bit more like larger. It seems like that's where like the air bubble has kind of grown, so it looks like it has a big brain.
Well, yeah, it's like when you get a pizza and like, there's like a big bubble. You're like, I want that piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know that the cheese in that part's gonna be ludicrous. Right?
I guess, yeah, if we could get that bread and then the happy bread,
One happy bread coming right up.
and then do you guys make coulashes?
Yeah, we do. I'll have to probably make one. I'll ask Sal to start whipping one up. Do you want one or do you want a dozen? How do you want us to prepare that for you, hon?
Would anybody else like a collage? What kind do you want? I know blueberry are really popular ones, and also egg, bacon, and cheese are really popular as well.
Blueberry one.
I get 2 blueberry collages and then 2
Okay.
egg, cheese, and bacon
Ooh,
collages.
feeling a little bit risky, huh?
And-
Awesome. Well, sure thing. I can do that. And you for back there in the back, do you want anything? As she points to you, Barren.
I imagine Barren was still kind of at the door, to be honest.
Yeah, but she saw that you came in with everyone else,
Oh.
so she points to you and like trying to like get more
I'm just
customer.
gonna give her a kind of like a side eye, and then I think as that's going on, I will just like kind of clear my throat and just say, like really loudly to kind of get the attention of like the bar. Has anyone heard about missing people or people getting sick?
Everyone.
Got killed
So
by
I'll take that as a no. So you ask him if you want anything.
With that, Sally's, or not Sally, her name's Mo. The other guy's name is Sal. Mo kind of hushes up, and you kind of seem like what has been like the few chattering people throughout the bar. They've kind of fleshed down with like kind of talk like that. You do see though one person in kind of a corner, bearing kind of looks to be a middle-aged woman. She raises her hand. I know something about it.
Great, let's sit and talk, and I'll make my way over to her.
As you guys figure out the bread situation and the half bread situation, it's going to cost you in total. So you have 4 galoshes that she's going to have to special order.
Mhm.
That's going to be 1 gold piece.
Per?
No, not per. Just 1 gold piece. It's just bread.
Right.
It's just bread. Happy bread itself is going to probably be 5 silver pieces, plus the normal bread. The normal bread would only be like a silver piece because that's just the average thing that they're making.
2 silver, there's 2 silvers.
Yeah. So no. So 6 silver and 1 gold.
Okay. Cool.
They start working on that for you.
Question real quick. What's your silver to gold ratio?
So 10 silver makes 1 gold. So she can get you change.
So I'm just going to give her 2 gold and tell her to keep the change.
Says, thank you.
No problem.
As you guys kind of settle down at the bar to start munching on some bread, we're going to go over to Barren real quick, and then I have forgotten about you. Of course, Opal.
Anyone else notice she said duty?
I didn't.
She said howdy doody.
You hear Pablo behind go. Cutie. Pablo, you rascal.
Since you're giving her change, can I have another piece of bread? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
That was cute.
Barren, as you walk over,
In a to-go bar. Okay.
Because Barren always makes it look heavy.
Raise
I like there.
What did Faith say?
Your character needs to know.
She would have said to our group only.
I'm sorry. Barren, he's just out here trying to do his job. Everyone's making fun of him. So
It's
there.
not here.
As you walk over, you see what looks to be a middle-aged woman that is what looks to be 4 drinks in. She looks in, though, from what you can tell in her mannerisms, she doesn't seem to be someone that drinks a lot because this has gone her pretty intoxicated.
I mean, it depends on what 4 drinks is, but 4 drinks can be a lot.
It can be, but from what you can tell, it doesn't look like it's strong stuff. It looks like mostly just like simple mead. Barren. It's not like you can tell as just walking up. She doesn't seem to be like a heavyweight drinker. This is kind of gone her very intoxicated, just like what she has.
Great. All right, what do you know?
My about 2 days ago, my 2 little boys went missing, and ever since then, my husband Sam, he hasn't been able to go work in the quarry at all. Been stuck home, sick. Pretty sure he's gonna die here soon. There's nothing I can do. Nothing that the clerics have been able to do. Say restoration magic, the simple stuff that should work on diseases isn't working on this. So I came here to try to forget a little bit about that, but it seems I haven't yet. So I guess I can answer the questions.
Did she say that her little boys?
Yes.
Okay. Your husband getting sick. You said he works in the quarry?
Yeah, he does. Oh, used to.
Are there others getting sick from the quarry?
Pretty about, from what I can remember, as of right now, maybe 10, 15 people. Sick, all similar things.
5.
Take 5.
And they all work in the quarry. Has anyone else outside of the quarry gotten sick?
I don't know. I just been I think maybe I've heard of one family from here at the bread wall who got sick too, but I don't know. She kind of like seems to wince from pain as she probably has a pounding headache.
What about your kids? Can I get some water?
Mo, between serving things to your friends, she brings over a water and kind of hands it to you.
Here, drink this.
The lady will kind of take it and smell it. And, I don't want water right now.
Listen, I just need the information. I don't care what you do afterwards, but drink it right now. I need you to clear your head a little bit.
With that, she'll take a little bit of water, sip it down. Kind of take a second. And
What about
Thank
your
you.
kids?
I haven't seen that in 2 days. They were out playing with the others like they usually do. Especially while I'm washing clothes and while their father's out down in Korea. It's not really much we can do to watch them. So busy, and I just had a bad feeling that morning, and they haven't returned.
I'm getting worried.
Where were you when this happened?
I was here in the bread district. I washed clothes for some of the miners, but I have to come up here. There's a stream that runs out of the rock here, and it works really well for washing clothes. I live in the smiter's quarry with my husband.
What was the name of that family that you said possibly got sick?
I don't know. I've been in here for so long that I just heard that there's someone.
All right. Well, thanks. I'll get up and start walking away.
As like you can't get up, you see that most of the people in the bar seem to be kind of eyeing you down. Just kind of wondering who this person is that came in and broken up the piece of the place.
I'll just kind of walk outside the doors and just head outside.
Okay. All right. As you head out, we're going to go to Pinky. Pinky, you, with your ability to jump into things very easily with children, you have the ringleader. It looks to be this younger girl with almost kind of like a platinum-esque blonde hair that seems to be darker at the roots. It almost looks like it might have been dyed to look the way it is. She seems to be kind of getting people situated into teams for tag as they're kind of counting off as they finished up a game of bread tag.
Sorry, let me write those down.
Oh, you're good.
I'm going to approach the ringleader and I'm going to walk up. I'm not going to fly up. I'm going to walk up, be on their level.
You fly up.
Let's fly. Hi, can I play?
Yeah. It looks like we can use one more.
Hey,
What's your name?
my name's Vicky. She's going to stick out her hand. What's your name?
Oh, my name's Klem. And she sticks out her name, shakes it.
Nice to meet you. Who's it? How do we play?
Well, you've never played bread tag before?
No, it looks really fun.
So the way it works is one team is the bakers and the other team is the burglars. And the way it works is the bakers have to run somewhere, find a piece of bread, run back, and they're looking for the burglars. And now the way you get burglars, you have to throw and hit them with a piece of bread, and then after you've hit them with a piece of bread, you have to touch them before they've become unfrozen.
Whose team am I on?
It looks like we need. I'm going to roll for this, just because I don't know which team. Evens, we're going to be bakers, so you are on the bakers team. Hey, all right. As she points, she's on the opposite team.
Okay.
She points to you have what looks to be a really scraggly young boy, have a little bit heavier set boy as well,
Okay.
and what looks to be like a girl that is had got a pretty big gap tooth between her teeth. With bread tag, I'm going to need you to do a couple series of checks for me as the game begins. As everyone stands in a ring, they all kind of lock hands and they go, bakers and burglars, ready, set, go! And then the kids all dash in different directions, running all sorts of directions. Your job as a baker first is to find some bread.
Okay.
I need you to do an investigation check for me.
16.
16. That is really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Negative.
With a 16, you are heading down the street, and you can tell that this place is fairly known for their bread. And a lot of the times, it's not too uncommon to find like scrap pieces of bread outside. Like most places that serve food, they have waste. And you were able to find a barrel by a bakery not too far away from where your friends went in that houses a nice. What kind of bread do you want to find?
Something not too big and something not too hard,
Okay.
but like a good size that like can actually get some speed.
I was thinking like
from
a
it.
sourdough.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like a sourdough. It looks like the rocks off of Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, it's like we're running with it.
Yeah.
It's like hard to.
No, Pinky's ready.
That's what I was thinking then.
It's like a basketball.
No, do you want something like good size? Like, I don't know, maybe a little bit bigger than like a softball, but definitely softer than a
It's like
softball.
a nice bun.
Yeah, good,
Yeah,
a good like sweet bun.
yeah.
Like a sweet bread.
Something that can pick up some speed but still not hurt people.
Something that you can put some spin on.
Yeah.
But is not going to necessarily maim a child.
Right.
That makes sense. You find one of these buns, and because of your small stature, you find 3 of them. Do you want to carry all 3, or do you want to just take one?
Can I carry 2?
Carry 2. The as you get more than just one, you will be technically kind of like in the like encumbrance like mode. Not like you're not going to have your reduced speed by half, but maybe like reduced by 5 for everyone over just one that you have. So you go from being I think at 30 right now to 25 because you're holding 2 fairly large pieces of bread for you.
Right.
In your
And you don't want to run and drop.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then what I think Pinky's gonna do is she's going to take all 3
Okay.
and kind of find a very accessible kind of hiding spot for them.
Oh yeah.
And she's gonna tuck them away and just carry one with her.
Okay. So she's going to hide her bread so that way she has a quick way of gaining more ammunition in the bread war.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. I would like you to make a hiding check, a stealth check for hiding your bread
Cool.
from the other children.
That is stealth.
Yeah.
That is a 24.
Yeah. So most kids don't get on roofs, so it's fairly easy for you to find a location that the other children won't get to. Perfect. Easy. You're pretty sure they're hidden well. You take one of your pop cross buns. It's kind of squishy in your hand. And you're like, oh, it's like basically dodgeball sized. It's feeling good. Now comes the sport. It's been, by this point, probably 2 to 3 minutes. Kids have spread out. You recognize the kids that you're looking for. You're looking for kind of another lanky kid. You're looking for Klem, a lanky boy. Looks a little bit older than Klem. You're looking for what looks to be a little girl who's carrying some sort of blanket kind of tied around as like a cape almost thing. And you're looking for
And then a bra so she can have ears.
a bra.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bra and cape. Just like Stitch.
Yeah. I like it. She's dressed herself up as a knight. Battle ready armor. And then you're looking for what looks to be like a kind of a scrappy young kid that looks like he has like a big old scar down one of his arms, though he has no shirt on.
Okay.
I would like you to do an investigation check, as these kids are kind of running and trying not to be spotted.
Investigation? Oh, okay, not as bad. It's still a 4.
Award? Okay. So it takes a long time for you to find. The first one that you find seems to be the girl wearing the bra and cape.
Cool.
It's polka dots.
Red background and white polka dots.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, where'd you get that?
As you are able to spot her, she seems to have been running. She found a pretty good hiding spot. Like you, with your investigation being fairly high, I don't think you'll be able to get. You would have to go kind of pretty out in the open to find people. So I won't allow you to do this one with sneak attack.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to check some bread at her, you can.
Let's check some bread at her. Can I use dexterity?
Yes, you can.
Perfect. Just like okay. Dexterity. And can I add my proficiency bonus or just dexterity?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think you would be proficient in throwing bread.
Checking regular.
Yeah.
Well, that is a 21 in that case.
Oh my gosh. Well, if it were to come up, this little girl's special ability with her cape and bra was to give herself the ability to reduce the amount it hit her, giving her basically kind of a higher AC than the other children. But she only got a -1 to it, so you're still at a 20. And if you can't hit a child with a dirty 20, that's pretty impressive for the child. Yeah, you
Boss child.
How dare you enter my domain? You're able to plant one squarely on her chest. She has been tagged. And you run up easily enough, tag her. She is out of the game for right now. One thing that's important to note, once the bread's touched the ground, it's technically you're supposed to go and find another piece. Like if it's been tagged, then you need to get another piece.
It's called stale bread.
Stale.
Yes. Okay.
It's not good. It's the floor bread for dogs.
Yeah.
And rats.
So Pinky, before she's gonna tag the little girl, and she's gonna. She doesn't have any tag. She was gonna ask. Do you know anyone who's been sick, or maybe someone who went missing?
The little girl. I would like you to do a persuasion check actually for that.
Oh, my persuasion. Right there. It's a 19.
19. Oh my gosh. Over here, like everyone else is just in a bar eating bread. Barren's actually like asking like fairly good questions, trying to get information, and then Pinky's out here like special forces training at right for decimating children. As you say that question, you can see her eyes go wide, and says, "I'm not supposed to say." And then she is going to, start scurrying kind of away.
And I'm not gonna find it. I'm just gonna go look for the next kid. Get my bread. Go look for the next one.
You see her, as she kind of gets scared, she scurries away. You can see what looks to be kind of maybe not too far down, what looks to be kind of like a storm drain built into this part of the fortress of the city, this massive stone structure. And in rain, it would not, the water has to go somewhere. And this kid seems to go and jump in it and hide.
Okay.
You do notice that.
Okay.
With a 19, you do get that. As you go and retrieve more bread, the first thing that you notice as you grab your loaf of bread is that both of them have started to grow this ichor black mold
Oh,
on
crap.
It's only been, 2-3 minutes since you've touched them. But you notice, it's not tons, but you can see on the bottom, like little parts of it starting to spread.
Yeah.
And your heart almost kind of sinks. What do you do?
Well, Pinky is alarmed. She's going to not touch the bread. She's gonna. Pinky's very suspicious now. She's gonna go find the ringleader. She's gonna find Klem. Try and spot Klem.
I would like you to do an investigation check.
I rolled a 1.
Klem.
I did 2.
Klem is nowhere to be found. But what's going on? You do maybe catch a couple of the other bakers as you're running around. You ask them, like, hey, have you seen Klem at all? Gone.
And I'd warned them. Don't touch the bread.
As you say that, they all seem to kind of like scoff. What are you talking about? Things like that. They think you're just kind of pulling a trick on them.
That's literally the point of the game. Just touch the bread.
Don't touch the bread. Like, we're the bakers. Really, that's our job. No. At that point, would you return to your friends?
Yeah.
It's about that point. Not too far. After that, as you kind of fly up to it, you see Barren. It looks like Barren himself. McKay is kind of away from the computer, so we'll allow that to transpire a little later. But as you kind of come up to Barren, everyone else in the bar, as you guys have gotten your bread, you start eating it, and it's delicious. But
No, but
as
it's just good bread. Let it be good bread.
time goes on, the ones that you get a couple of them down, the ones that you're planning on saving, the one that you've gotten extra, you notice the same thing. A little bit of what looks to be almost black mold starting to grow.
Do I feel sick? Like, am I feeling that in the tongue?
Moss, I want you to do a Constitution saving throw for me.
Oh joy, that saving throws I'm not the best at.
His immune system isn't
I
that
knew it was
good.
a bad bread. Pinky didn't say it, but.
Let me check real fast. I think I have advantage on Constitution saving throws.
That one surprised me.
I do. Okay.
We all need to roll, or is it just
15.
15. You are not feeling terrible, but you are starting to feel kind of woozy. But you think it's because of the happy bread.
I know that's the problem. Moss is like, oh.
So, for the rest of you, you notice the bread starting to turn that way before you actually end up eating it.
Oh, so we don't need it.
So we don't eat it.
Yeah, you don't
Okay.
eat the mold. I'm assuming, unless you want to.
Well, we have noted like on the Colossus and stuff like that. We haven't actually noticed.
Well, maybe it's like a feature with like the dragon's skull.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, it's like Draco Lich bread.
Okay, so does it look like gold, or does it look more of like a black spot on it?
It looks like mold. You can see like the texturization as it like you can almost see it like starting to like almost creep over it.
I would like to take my piece back up to the bar, and I just want to ask Mo, was that her name?
Yeah.
I would say, hey, there seems to be an issue with our bread. And I'll kind of show her, and I'll say, is this supposed to be happening, or I'm so this is my first time here.
She looks down at it and her mouth falls agape. She goes, oh no. Everybody, stop eating the bread! And then she starts yelling out. You see people who are like in mid like eating as they kind of stop, and they all like kind of look down and notice that they like the bread they've been eating is starting to turn this moldy way. They all kind of throw it to the ground, like you hear like shouts of like fear in their voices as they kind of chuck it on the ground. And you hear Mo say, "Oh, it's happening again," and that's where we're going to break.
Oh. Did it like we break bread?
We're all gonna die. Dang it!
This is really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. My little sister made it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just put it right in there and it
Put it right there.
eyes. Wow.
Girl, she made it?
Well,
yeah, she made it.
Everyone, thank you for
Amazing.
being here for as long as you have been. I'm very grateful for how this. It's been a lot of fun. We will be back here in like 5 minutes, around 8-ish. We'll jump back on. Fine. Okay.
Be
Be
back.
back here in a second. Are we back? We are back. Well, I think let me take just a 2 seconds to
Start music.
Dead.
start the music again. If we had sponsors, we'd also thank our sponsors right now, but
We don't have any sponsors.
which is okay. We're
Sponsors trees. We
we're
give
just having fun.
carbon dioxide. They give us oxygen.
Yeah.
We are grateful.
Thank you, trees.
Our sponsor is you, the viewer. Thank
There
you.
we go.
Yeah.
Not like monetarily, but just in support.
Yeah. No, spiritually
Yes.
sponsor us. So, last time right before we jumped off to Beret, those who were in the tavern had just recognized the same thing that happened to the bread that Pinky was using in the bread baker burglar game, also known as the BDBG. Anyways, you guys have seen this black mold growing upon the food in which you had just only moments before had been eating. And you'd heard Mo, one of the waitresses, the proprietress of this fine establishment, also known as the BDBB. I'm so sorry, I need to stop. But she says, "Oh no, it's happening again." That's where we're jumping back in.
Can I flash my little Vigil's symbol and be like, all right, what's going on?
Flash her.
I'm just going to show her what we're working And I'm gonna show her my symbol, my badge. I'll say, okay, I need you to tell me what's going on.
As you show her the Vigil symbol, her eyes go kind of wide and say, and then she almost breathes out a sigh of relief, seeing that you are people that she can actually trust, seeing that you are the authority here. Says, "Oh, good. The bread, it's going bad again." You can tell that she's kind of getting almost fearful in some regard. As she talks, she says, "Your vigils, all of you?
Yes.
Thank the gods that you've made it here. We thought it may have just been one instance, but it looks like it's coming back. 2 nights ago, around dinner time, something very similar like this happened. All of our bread just went rancid with this black mold. And not too long after, people started going sick. Then just a few hours later, the bread that we started baking didn't go rancid, and we just thought maybe it was some weird fluke magic thing. Maybe a wizard passed by and thought it was funny or something like that. You never know with magic. But this looks like something that may be kind of continuing. And she kind of rubs her temples as she seems worried. We lost a lot of business that night because of it. Some of the people that were here eating were some of the ones that got sick.
Can you maybe direct us to some of those people so we could maybe talk to them?
Mo will kind of I can do that. I know a couple families that are around, but one in particular may be more help. A lot of them, they live in the Smiter's quarry. They don't know much. They're just scrapping for silver pieces, where they can get it. I don't think they're gonna be much help. But there's one family, a little bit better, well-to-do off here. They might know a little bit. You keep heading up on the baker's wall. About 1 or 2 more of the switchbacks up, there's a house just on the corner, kind of overlooking the rest of the Fred district, but down below, and even kind of can see some of the Smiter's quarry from here. If you go there, you're looking for a family by the last names of the Elwinds. He's known as kind of the tax collector around here. He's not a bad man, and he treats us fairly well. It'd be a shame to lose him and have someone else who's less than put into that position. So if I was going to go check with anyone who's sick, they'd probably be the ones to go to. And if I could ask you, if the bread goes back to normal, can you please not spread rumors around? There's already going on. It's not just this place; it's every establishment out here in the Baker's District. People come from all around, even travel from Turku over here to Havnok just to see the bread wall. It'd be devastating if it got out that our bread is going bad and making people sick.
No, Ray. I hope you understand if we could need to, if it escalates to that. But for now, we'll see. I want to do our best to uphold this establishment's reputation. But we also want to keep the general public safe.
Could we also take a look in your kitchen?
Yeah, sure. The kitchen is basically built right behind the bar. That's kind of like the fun atmosphere-esque piece of this. The Black Dragon Bakery and Brewery is a lot of their work that's done is pretty upfront for people to watch and see. You know, like kind of like the Zupas or like what's
like Krispy
Kreme is the last
donuts
going through the whole situation. Like you see their alcohol, they're like in the back on like the presses, pressing the juices out of the whatever they're brewing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting to, you see them kind of like going through the whole process. So yeah, she said, I'd be more than fine with y'all going and checking around our fine establishment. If you notice anything out of place, let us know. We want this gone as soon as possible. We're more than enough to help.
I imagine.
If you need a little,
Go ahead.
if you need a little bit of information around, maybe talk to Saul, my husband. He might be able to point you a little bit better around there. She points to the other gnome, the one that was kind of tending the oven. He looks to be kind of dismayed in front of you.
Okay.
Does someone want to come with Pinky? Because Pinky does not have good investigation, but she will do it anyways.
Are you going to the kitchen?
Yeah, Pinky's going into the kitchen.
Moss would join Pinky in the kitchen.
Thank you.
And so, Opal, you will go?
But I don't have good investigation.
No worries.
I imagine that we all are there now, right? Like we all kind of came in, rushed in because customers were probably leaving or who knows what. But where do you get your flour? Or your ingredients?
Our flour, most of it's grown in a lot of the valleys connected to the tributaries to the Borcillian River, mostly upstream, some downstream, but a lot of it we have to ship in from the Castle Wharf down by the docks.
Down by the rocks.
Down by the docks. That's where we get most of our shipments from. Most of it has to be grown outside of the city, of course, but we usually like to keep a fairly good stockade on hand because you never know when it's going to be a busy night. If you want, check that when you're in the kitchen as well. Go right ahead.
Pinky's gonna do an investigation.
Yeah.
Oh, 7. I tried to put it in the bag.
Nice.
An 18 for investigation?
Yes.
Okay, that one is 30.
30-20.
Here's again.
No on Dirty Dan.
And,
Moss.
Moss got a 12,000.
Moss, you literally see into your skull cavity. You're like, wow, very perceptive. No,
12.
12. Okay. Opal, as you go back there, you're kind of leading the charge, and you're someone you have fairly good perceptive skills, investigation.
Investigation and perception, no.
Not perceptive, but investigative skills. As you kind of slowly work your way through, most everything back here doesn't look like out of place. It seems to be a very clean kitchen. They run a fine establishment. You can tell that a lot of they seem to be fairly well off because it looks to be their oven is made to be it's heated by an ever-burning flame. It's kind of a magical item that, as placed in, as the command word is spoken, it will continually burn forever without needing a source of power. It can't get any bigger than like a small campfire, but built into the oven that they have, it seems to be something more than enough to bake bread in the droves that they do.
My phone died, so I can't look up what these mean. But what is the spell that can determine, like, is it a good magic item or is it a bad?
So you can do detect magic. That will allow you to sense the presence of like magic around you within like 30 feet.
Or no, it's identify.
And identify tells you basically like the stipulations, what it's about, and stuff like that.
I'll use identify.
Okay. What are you identifying?
I want to identify the flame since it's the never burning one. Let's see if it's maybe corrupted or anything like that. Of course. Even if the stove's magic or anything like that.
Yeah, sure. As you ask Saul to turn off the flame, and you place your hand onto the kind of this intricate, almost looks like a wind-up box for like a music box, except there's no keyhole for something to wind it. You take 10 minutes as the rest of your party members kind of go around and investigate. And you're able to identify this as a box of ever-burning flame. It is a fairly... This version, with the size it is, you can get smaller common versions that are just like the size of like a lighter that you can turn on and off. This seems to be an uncommon size, as it's fairly large and enough to heat up an oven. And so it's not like it's a small piece of equipment. It's fairly expensive. As you sense through it, you notice that there, in fact, is nothing inherently off-putting or seemingly cursed about this particular item. The ever-burning flame doesn't seem to have any ill magic contained with it, as you celestially and through your ritual acts determine it is not producing whatever this effect is.
Okay. Do you have other magic items that are perhaps used in the ingredients or baking?
I mean, we have pellets of evaporations that we like to keep in the storage containers for our flour, just so that way it doesn't get any water or any mold in it. We have those, but really, other than that, we have about 6-7 of them, 8 maybe, 8, and those are what we use. Everything else is just mostly just handcrafted, like our forefathers used to do it before they really started making money enough to pay for a magician to make those things.
Is that a common thing that everybody has?
The dryness pellets?
Yeah.
You would have guessed that because this seems to be kind of like one of the higher end bread places, they have a little bit more money to throw at kind of things like that, just to help stock. That is also like that amount of those like dryness pellets. Basically, what it does is like it can take a material and like over the space of a certain amount of hours, draw out water into it and collect it. That can be removed later on.
I don't know. I kind of missed some stuff, Loki.
You're good.
Who's where?
So most everyone's kind of helping kind of search the kitchen right now. And you had been given the tip of Ren being able to talk with Mo, and she gave him a tip of a family that's just little bit up higher on the bread wall who has someone sick at the house that might be able to give more information.
Is there any common items that you may use between? I don't know if you know where people else are getting like the bad bread from, or is it everybody?
It's everybody.
Is there a common place where you guys get flour, where you guys get ingredients?
Most of ours come from similar places up the Torselian Valley, but I don't think it's kind of just general. Like everyone kind of gets the same stuff from same vendors, though you may buy from a different name that's kind of come from the same places.
Okay.
Quick question. How, as you guys are searching the kitchen, I would like one of you to do kind of just a general investigate. Actually, Opal, you had a pretty high investigation check with an 18. We'll roll with that. A dirty 20. As you guys continue forward with searching the whereabouts of this kitchen, asking kind of questions, you kind of get the idea that the mold doesn't necessarily seem to be coming from any of the equipment. You spend the next while like kind of going through that. You have the idea of maybe it's the materials that they have shipped in that everyone kind of has this going on with. Or you could check up and follow with the lead of the people that are higher up that actually live in the bread wall district. And so that's kind of like your two. You kind of discern that from searching around here, you're not going to get much more information than you already kind of gleaned, if that makes sense. That way you're not just spending the next hour gameplay knocking your head against this area. We'll say that you spend a good hour in game kind of going through searching ledgers, kind of understanding, they're getting their supplies kind of come from the same place. And then talking about around with like people, you get confirmations of it looks like the people who had maybe accidentally partaken of the bread prior, before like they knew that the mold was a bad thing, were seeming to be the ones that got sick. Okay, that's kind of the rumor, and it seems like it's been kind of a close held secret of the bread district, and that's why maybe there's not nearly as much presence being known about this. Like they don't really want this to get out where people are getting afraid of coming here.
Hate to say it, but I hope you guys don't get sick. For, eating the bread.
Are you guys eating the bread?
No, of course not.
I had a little.
Take a chomp.
Just see,
That's like that's out the mold.
literally over there, just still eating it, huh?
Licking his fingers in the crumbs.
That's so good.
So what did
Tastes
you
better
guys
than
find out?
Almost. Everything looks clean. At least from what I can see.
A fun part. Well, at least you know that.
do we go talk to the other guy that's sick? Maybe he can give us a little bit more information.
Yeah, maybe people that are sick are having some sort of like vivid dreams or something. Somebody leave.
Let's go talk to him.
The lady said a name. Elwind's? Let's go see them. Is that the same family that Barren you heard about, or the different one? You talked to the lady.
I didn't
She
get a
didn't
name.
remember. Yeah, she didn't remember a name, but she had mentioned that there was someone here
Oh, okay.
that was sick.
Okay.
I was able
And
to. Most people the lady that I talked to mentioned that most people that were getting sick were from the quarry. But now it seems with new information that it's coming from the bread.
Was
Yeah,
the bread
right.
sent to the quarry?
Yeah, even Mo said like the people, like the miners, they're getting most sick.
I wonder if they dug up something. in the mine.
Maybe.
The way I see
She said
it,
that that's like where they grow a lot of their wheat too. Is kind of down there.
In the quarry?
Kind of not in the core,
in
but like
Castle Wharf.
an area.
Castle Wharf is where a lot of the shipments come into the city. The quarry, as you've been asking, you find out that's actually where, like, almost all of the stone that is used for building this city
Mm-hmm.
has come from. As they've almost like, think of like big pit mines,
Yeah.
but this mine kind of continues in and down into the mountain to where they started building like shanty homes throughout it, to where it's almost kind of like the slums community.
Yeah,
I don't remember her saying that there were like fields down there.
I wonder if they uncovered maybe some dark item or rune, or maybe accidentally unleashed some type of devil or demon that's poisoning their food.
Let's go see the Elwinds first, and we'll make our way down to the quarry. Unless we get another more important lead.
I agree.
As you guys head towards the area that you guys have been guided towards, you find this fairly nice house have built into the side of this corner of the switchback road heading up the wall. The view from up here, at this point, it's getting a little bit more darker at night as kind of dusk is falling. You've been kind of going for a couple of hours now. And kind of getting to that twilight sense where the air almost seems kind of heavy. Each step as you kind of go up, it's kind of thick feeling. You all notice kind of the smell in the air has turned from that beautiful smell of bread as you first arrived to that hint of corrosion, that hint of rot that you'd caught underneath. It smells putrid. Burns the nostrils and makes your eyes kind of water as you continue through. You can hear people in the in houses crying and yelling out, almost a mournful visage as you kind of continue forward. And as you kind of climb up the roadway, you can see people have at this point now that's dark, and most people have shut up shop. They've been dumping this moldy bread into the streets just to be trodden underfoot. You guys are kind of walking over it and kind of feel this soft swish underneath each footfall. Very
have an unnatural feeling.
Because we said that it's like kind of moldy, right?
Yes.
Are there like spores?
You don't necessarily see spores. It almost like looks like a dry tar.
It's like crusty.
Yeah, kind of crusty.
Okay, so we don't need to like cover our mouths or anything. No.
I'm assuming there are no. Pinky's still interested in the children as they've been walking. Less and less children until it's night and everyone's indoors.
Make an investigation check.
Okay. Okay, investigation. That is a 16.
You do still see a couple kids running around. They're more hidden in the alleyways. It's hard to see kind of what's going on. You'd assume that maybe you're still playing, but it's hard to tell. And just about as you're kind of about to like make a note of it to your fellow comrades, you reach the door of the Elwind residence.
So in other words, Pinky can't go talk to his kids.
You could. It's just up to you if you want to go do that or you want to be with your friends for going. Yes. Oh, what would you
You
like?
can. I mean, we'll talk to the Elwinds.
You know, I think Pinky's gonna go talk to the kids.
I was just curious as we're walking if something would have wiped a memory or whatever.
Do a religion check. As you kind of, you're walking, you meditate for a little bit, kind of draw upon
And 19.
reserves of intellect. You have kind of a brief visage kind of flash through your eyes of all figure, and where you're at is completely different than where you had previously been in your other visions. Where that would have been on that kind of that like sun stained, or like not sun stained, but the dusk-esque battlefield. All of them. This one's more kind of in bright midday. It's almost like a flash. You see what looks to be structures, castles around you, but a very different make and style than what you're seeing around you now. More almost elven in design. And you see yourself kind of holding there, one hand on the shield, one hand pulling out your axes. You see a figure kind of come around the corner. And you see like the visage of a head with tusked teeth and 3 horns on it. And that's when it fades. Their full body almost to be made of pure blackness. And that leaves you with a shudder. Just a quick question for McKay and Kyle. Can you hear us pretty well? We're pretty quiet.
I can hear you. If you could speak up a little bit, I wouldn't complain, but I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I just noticed I was getting quiet again. So.
I will also probably stay outside with Pinky.
Pinky will. Okay. Does Barren look like he's going to follow Pinky into an alley to talk to the kids? Or is he just waiting right outside?
I think I'll just wait outside and just kind of watch you.
Cool. Because Pinky doesn't want you to approach the kids with her.
Hard to
He
say.
doesn't want to scare them. Right?
It's when you're like your little brother tries to follow you and like hang out with you when you're trying to be with like your friends and be cool.
You know what? I would have started taking a step forward. What are you gonna do, Pinky?
Pinky's gonna look at you and be like, and she's gonna shake her head and be like, you should stay right there.
Why?
Because, well, I don't want to scare the kids.
I'm great with kids.
You talk to them first.
I mean, I think
And
you
she's
and me
like-
are pretty good friends.
Oof.
You should call it.
Pinky is simultaneously offended and flattered.
Doesn't know how to feel. Flabbergasted.
Why would you be offended? You're a kid.
We can talk about that later. Don't assume a woman's age. And,
And she says woman, and you go, oh.
and she's going to point to the ground in front of Barren and say, "Hey," and she's going to over to the kids.
Okay. We will do Pinky first before we do the house stuff.
Okay.
As you go over to the kids, you see what looks to be the small kid without a shirt on. You see him in an alleyway where the bread's kind of full. He has a sack and he's putting it into the sack. Are you like? It looks like he's hunched over and like putting the bread into a bag. Are you sneaking up on him, or are you kind of making your presence known?
I'm making my presence known.
As you kind of come up, he's going to kind of give you a big toothy smile and say, "Hi, your name was Pinky, right?
That's right.
I'm collecting some of the bread.
Why? Isn't it moldy?
It is, but I think they need it.
Who?
It's hard to say. It's just they asked me to, Klem and some of the others, and so I figured I'd help out."
Do you just bring it to them? Or do they take it somewhere? What do they do with it?
I don't know. They said, "Hey, can you go and get us a bag of the bread?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And they said, "If you do, we'll make sure that you get to be on the baker's team tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds like fun. I don't usually get picked to be a baker because I'm not very good at throwing." As he picks up one of the loaves of bread and kind of chucks it out the wall and misses the wall, which is only like 5 feet away from him, and goes on the ground right in front of him. "Yeah, I'm still working on it."
Well, you keep working on that. Have you known Klem?
Oh, I've known her for a long, long time. Ever since I was since I was young.
Okay. How long has she been wanting you to pick up bread?
We only just started doing this tonight. They just asked us if we could get some.
Oh, I see. Are any of your family sick? I heard that the bread might make people sick. Do you get sick by touching it?
Don't eat it. That's what I've been told. Just my mama said not to eat it. But
Oh.
my dad, he died in a big crash in the quarry a couple of years back. I didn't really know him very well. I was still pretty young back then, but Mama, she treats me pretty good. We manage.
That's good. I have a friend over there. Do you want to meet him? He's really cool. His name's Barren.
As he looks over, Barren, I'd like you to do just a passive persuasion to see how cool.
My
Persuasion.
passive persuasion would be
Oh, how do you do passive persuasion?
Be like whatever his age.
Oh god.
Let's see how brave this little boy is.
Can I help him?
He rolled fairly well. So the way I was figuring it is if you rolled like the opposite, since his is 8, you need to get like a 12 to not be afraid. 12 and above. Because then it's like the more approachable you are, the smaller that gets. He got 15, so he's feeling pretty brave. He grabs his bag of bread and starts walking towards Barren.
Is
Okay.
this just a human boy?
He seems to be half human and half dwarven.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So he seems a little bit more squatter than a lot of them.
Hey, Barren, this is. I don't think I got your name. What's your name?
My name is Hal.
Barren, this is Hal. And he is collecting the bread for a girl that I met earlier. We played the bread tag game called Klem.
Why are you collecting the bread?
I don't know. It just asked me to.
He said that it doesn't make him sick if he just touches it. He just can't eat it.
And is it just one person that's having you collect the bread?
No, some of the other kids they say it's important. They say, "Hey, can you go get the bread?" And so then I did. And I got it. And he holds up his little bag.
Well, that's great. Do you think we can collect the bread with you?
Maybe, but they said that they'll come and grab the bread when they're ready. So I don't know if you'll be able to stick around all the time until then when they're coming and getting it.
Do they have you wait for them in a specific location?
No, they usually find me. They know. Isn't that feel good? Ugh.
That's so creepy.
Hey, Barren, why don't you go see what they're doing inside, and I'll stay and help them collect some bread. And when you're done in there, you guys can come out and we can all hang out for a little while.
That sounds like a good plan. Nice to meet you.
It's good to meet you too.
Is his bag full?
It could use a little bit more. So
Okay.
but there's plenty of bread everywhere to kind of collect from.
Okay, so I'm gonna just so you know what's happening while they're inside. I'm going to help him fill the bag, and then I'm going to entertain him to keep him with me, with my
you
juggling
staying-
and my
Yeah,
my
throwing party just for Hal.
Yes,
Um,
just for how.
This is a question. Are you guys sticking kind of close to the house with the Elwind residents, or are you going to be kind of just mingling throughout this area?
As close to the house as I can get him to stay.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good to know.
I don't think Barren will dilly-dally as much. I think after this, I think he'll try to go get the rest of the group and try to get them to come and join us outside.
Okay. We are going to go to the group that had entered, which would be Moss, Alia, Ren, and Opal. As you all kind of knock on the door and you leave Pinky and Barren kind of outside to keep watch. You enter and you hear someone say, "Who is it?" And it sounds to be some sort of feminine voice coming from the other side.
Am I knocking?
I guess so.
I will just say, we're Vigils. We're here to talk to you about your illness.
Your vigils?
Yes.
Well, come inside. As you hear kind of a woman come up to the door and undoes a padlock and opens it up for you. See, seems like I said, pretty, not like too shabby, like a little bit more well off kind of person, especially here in the bread district, which is kind of a little bit mid to, but that's not like crazy living circumstances. you see from behind, or like in another room, a man calls out and says, Charisse, what's that? What's going on? And she calls back, Varden, don't worry. I think there's healers here that may be able to figure out what Clarine's problem is. And as you all are permitted in, she sees the Vigil badges on the ones that have them out seen, and her eyes go wide. You continue forward, and as you kind of come in, she guides you to kind of a back room, and you see lying in a bed looks to be a teenage boy. You can see his face is very pale. He looks like he is kind of sweating, and his eyes are kind of rolled back, and he almost is like kind of mumbling.
Looks like delirious.
A little bit delirious. You see what looks to be his father with a damp rag kind of patting his head, trying to help look through the grave.
First off, I would like to cast Detect Poison and Disease.
Perfect.
What
What does that do precisely? Could you read it out?
for the duration, 10 minutes. I can sense the presence and location of poisonous creatures and diseases within 30 feet of me. I can also identify the kind of poisonous creature or disease in each case.
Okay, so as you're sensing this, as you first walk in, you see it's almost kind of all around you. There's like a faint haze
Mm-hmm.
that you kind of detect, but you see what looks to be almost like a concentration inside the boy, kind of centered in his core. Very much looks to be some sort of poisoning effect going on there inside of him. Question: can you read that just one more time to me?
I sense the presence of poisons and diseases within 30 feet of me. I can also identify the kind of poisonous creature or disease in each case.
As you go and like identify, this isn't necessarily any natural poison. This seems to be almost a magical-esque type of poison that is being created by some sort of being. And as you sense that, you notice that there is some sort of creature inside the boy, causing his poison effect.
Ooh, spooky.
Okay. So, do I tell the family?
Do you tell us?
Yeah, do you tell us? That's the-
Or they're like, well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is like, do I like? How can I tell you guys? But they're in the room.
But would Moss notice that like Ren is freaking out at this point, or is Ren even freaking out?
I would say he looks disturbed.
Ren also has been around a good amount of strange diseases himself, with his past, but like this is also definitely something that would be kind of off-putting.
Does anybody have? Oh, never mind. Because I want to know. Never mind.
Ali's there.
Well, yeah, but she doesn't know what's
Yeah,
going
we don't
on.
know what's going on yet.
She can see that Ren is disturbed.
Would I have experience in parasites? Because that's like what I'm thinking. I'm like, this is some sort of parasite. obviously like otherworldly parasite. But I'm thinking like if I could find some way to draw this parasite out, we could maybe get it somewhere.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if that's a better idea. But as of now, I haven't made that known.
If
Anyway,
if you tell us Moss has a better idea, or Moss has an idea,
Yeah, I'll look to the, I guess it's like the mom and dad. And I'll say, can you just give us a second here?
The dad almost seems to not want to leave his son's side, but the mom kind of comes and grabs his arm and says, "Don't worry, Art. They're vigils. They're here to help us." And he kind of sighs and says, "Please, help him." And they step out of the room.
And then I will say to you guys, there's something inside of him, like a creature.
I have an
It
idea.
seems to be like poisoning him. I get the sense it's some sort of parasite.
At this point, Moss is gonna like lift up his hand and just cast Produce Flame as his hand sort of catches fire.
Mhm.
Then Moss is gonna like walk near the boy and he's like, "Let's see what happens if we heat the boy up a little."
Well, don't hurt him. Elias gonna Elias gonna like walk up. Let me try something first.
Let's see. Moss wants to do this.
Just give me one second, okay?
I'm not gonna hit him with fire. I'm just gonna hold the flame close to the kid and see if
Oh,
it heats up. If anything happens.
Okay, I thought you were gonna light the child on fire.
No, I am not.
You don't want to.
You don't want to eat this
We
kid.
learned something about Moss today.
No, this is literally.
If you can't solve a problem, fire can do it for you.
Elias going to cast
Some-
action from good and evil.
Ooh, on the boy.
So until the spell ends, which is 10 minutes, one willing creature you touch is protected against certain types of creatures: aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. The protection grants several benefits. Creatures of those types have disadvantage on any attack rolls against the target. The target also can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. If the target is already charmed, frightened, possessed by such a creature, the target has advantage on any new saving throw against the relevant effect.
Good to know. That is good to know. Anyone else doing anything as Moss is kind of approaching this?
But we can like detect fiends, right?
Yeah.
Could you do that?
Yeah,
So we can maybe get a better understanding of what this thing is?
I will do that.
So you will use your divine sense.
Mine sense 60 feet of
Yeah.
same creatures of celestial fiend and undead.
Can I?
So as you sense that, you also get a red hot like stench of evil coming from inside this boy.
Can
And with each breath out, you can kind of smell the evil coming out of him.
Is there also a faith in a distant one?
With that, you do feel like there is some sort of connection to what is inside this boy to something that is distant. Not within this room. Maybe that kind of that haze that I described earlier for Ren, but since yours is specifically for themes, you get a better, clearer picture of it. And you can tell that there's something deep below you that this is connected to.
Okay.
Chase.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just have to say this, but one, I have to run and go check on Tori and Hayes for a second. But when Alia casts protection from good and evil, my first thought was it's gonna be the scene from Alien where the like creature comes out of the stomach. I'm like,
We're getting to that.
Yeah. Gosh.
Let's see what happens.
When I did the detect poison, Did I get like a ping on the bread? Because I still got my to-go box.
Yeah, there seems to be kind of like a connection to the bread and to this.
Okay. So they're linked.
There's a linkage. A link to it.
Maybe if it is like a fungus. Not exactly like a demonic fungus. It grows into that thing after it's been consumed and has those nice stomach bile juices.
Maybe. Or maybe what happens, because from what we understand, a lot of kids have disappeared, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if it's a type, like you said, a type of fungus, and that grows inside the body, and then once it grows inside the body, it turns into like a type, maybe like zombie-esque creature,
Like Klem.
which then takes them
Klem was one of these.
down to wherever.
But you guys don't know.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that. takes it down to wherever,
Full on that.
So basically,
you're saying
the fungus takes them over.
the parasite kind of like overtakes the host.
Yeah, and then takes the host down to wherever the source of the evil is, and then proceeds to feast the people.
That seems legit. I don't like it though. I don't like it. It could be true. Did your protection from evil went good? Is he protected?
As you all watch,
Before that,
Go
can
ahead.
I explain what I found?
yeah, and it's
Okay, of course.
as Moss is kind of approaching you, you basically are kind of
I'm like holding it back.
monologuing, in a sense, like as he's approaching with the flame, like I sense that there is an evil presence inside of him, and it's connected to something stronger
Below us.
above us, somewhere in the depths.
Yeah, okay, I'm done.
And as Moss, you approach this boy, and as soon as the protection of good is cast on, he starts kind of shaking, and then kind of starting to a little bit writhing, almost like foaming at the mouth. But that foam that's coming out, pure black, as it's kind of running down. He starts kind of coughing up. At that moment, as you start approaching with the flame,
As he's coughing, I go and like hold him up, like so he doesn't choke.
yeah, you're
I
gonna
want to support him.
as you kind of like turn him onto his side,
Yeah,
so that way it can kind of come out.
At this point, Moss is getting ready that if any like black goo monsters like shoot out of his mouth, he's gonna throw the fireball at it.
Okay, sounds good.
a fireball.
Close up the rainbow.
Fireball.
I'd imagine it's probably around at this point, right? That Barren would come in, or no?
It's about at this point that Barren, you kind of walk in to see this boy kind of shaking as like a mother and father who's kind of like scared of what's going on, kind of comes back in as they hear the boy struggling, and the mom kind of gives out like a quick yell. Moss approaches with the fire, and as he gets closer and hotter to him, he starts shaking vigorously, more violently, as you kind of see him spit and then start kind of undulating, and then eventually those, especially you Opal, who have a sense for this, you see what looks to be this form of blackness kind of undulate out of him through his vomit and bile, and kind of almost as wispy blackness, shadow even, and it lands not too far away, and as it kind of lands, it takes a moment and stands up, and you see the form of a being similar to the form of a human, almost a shadow of someone. At that moment, all lights in the house go out except for the fireball that is in Moss's hand.
Bro, that's spooky.
And then he throws it at it, and we need to roll initiative.
Yo.
My goodness.
He's just playing outside.
That's why I was like, okay, do you do you want to do this? If you want to do it with the kids, you can do that. But I just want to know if that's what you want to do.
I mean,
Chase,
it starts in the house. I'm sure Pinky's going to investigate.
yeah, Chase, do you want me to roll to hit first or roll for initiative first?
Roll to hit first because that's out of initiative.
Okay, big money, big money, big money.
Big
Come
money, big
on.
money.
With okay, it's like a 7. So with the light going off, like Boss is like, ah, it's gonna miss.
7. Okay. Let me roll for it. I wish I had a piece of paper. I will just keep a track on the sheet.
I have a piece of paper. You can
That's all right. I can do this. Okay,
Are you sure?
A nat 20 the initiative though.
that's pretty good. So we'll do 25 to 20.
22.
23.
I got a 25.
For the next round.
What? Yeah. What did you roll?
You can roll right now.
18.
Okay.
I have a plus 7.
You have a plus 7 to initiative?
Yes.
He does. God dang, talking about going first every time.
Oh, I know what you took, Ren.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
So Ren is up first, followed by Moss.
Yep, Moss at 23.
Moss at 23.
Barren got
And then
22.
what did you get?
A 7.
7K.
Which makes sense because Pinky won't know until we're concerned.
I got a 14.
14. What'd you get? Okay.
Are there any windows in this room, Chase?
There are.
Okay.
Most of them have been kind of boarded up, but as the flame hits the ground, everything is bathed in complete darkness.
Like the fire goes out?
I mean, it was just a fire bolt
Okay.
that he threw. It
Like he
wasn't
just like it erupts and it goes away.
yeah, it erupts and goes away. As
It was a snuffed out.
yeah.
I guess everything else was.
Um. Then. Good roll on your good roll, Opal.
14.
Yeah. I mean, everyone else like rolled insane, but that's a good roll for Opal.
Yeah, she's got that -1. It's rough.
With that, I'm going to switch our music.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Some like horror stuff.
I wish we had more horror stuff, but we
I'm
don't.
working on
I
it.
think we have a
I'll
Yep.
try and ask Will for more.
So, first up in our initiative,
Did the fireballs do anything?
he missed.
Oh, he missed. Oh, come on.
We should say
Right.
that it hits the window so that Pinky knows.
Alright, so it is now pitch black.
It's pitch black in here. You are human.
I'm human.
And
I'm only human.
you don't have a way of seeing in the dark.
Half elves have
Dark vision, yeah.
dark vision.
Did you take the dark vision with what you took? Because that's the kicker. If you do the custom lineage, you either pick one thing or your dark vision. And if you didn't pick dark vision, you don't have it.
I don't know what the other thing is. So,
I think it was like skill proficiencies.
Pinky doesn't have dark vision either.
I have it.
I was like, dude, none of us have dark vision. How on earth is it possible?
I have
Only
dark
human.
vision.
In this great 5th edition,
Where
Which I'm
everybody
very grateful for because it means I can do spookier things like this.
well, here's the thing. I still have my concentration on the detect poison and disease.
Yes.
Can I see it?
Yes.
Ooh.
Though you can't see anything else in the
Yeah.
environment.
Is it like actually? Can I see like through? Like, could I potentially, if someone is in front of me,
Yeah, like
can I see through them?
Yeah, no,
I see their shadow. Like it's kind of like a.
actually, I know you'd see through them. You can only see it. Like, same with you, Opal. You can you can sense its presence.
Well, I remember where everyone was last.
Oh.
The fire just barely went out. I think. Okay. Do I get the sense that it is incorporeal? Like, can we?
You haven't necessarily tried hitting it, so it's hard to tell if it is incorporeal. But
It did kind of wisp out of his mouth. Well, who cares? I'm going to throw a net at him.
a net.
Yes.
All right.
That is a 12.
12. 12 is its armor class.
Ah! But it goes right through it.
It, as you throw the net, it's hard to tell what happens because it's on pitch black.
It does need to make a strength check.
I'll do a strength check.
DC 10.
It rolled a 9 on its strength check.
Ooh.
But you feel like you got a good throw in with your net, but you don't know
Yeah,
whether
it's like, I'm like, good about that one.
yeah. But it's hard to know whether it's actually just like it dissolved through it, or if it's actually like caught it because it's in pitch black. Moss, you have dark vision, right?
Yes, Moss has dark vision.
So you would notice it was, you would see the net go through it as it is an amorphous being.
Ooh, okay. Alright, so, and it's... I just gotta check something real fast. I think Moss?
What you looking for? Okay.
Alright, Moss is gonna cast Fairy Fire on this fetcher.
No. That's good. That's a good one.
Good
Yep.
idea.
So Moss, he's gonna keep the cube just in a direction that like only this guy gets it. Which
With this small of a room,
yeah, that's my
there's
question.
not really a way, because you guys were kind of circled around the boy as this happened. So basically, you have to choose whether you're going to get Ren and Opal or Alia and Barren, who just walked in.
We'll
in the
do
frame.
We'll do Alia and Alia. We'll do the Paladin and Ren.
Paladin and Ren. Okay. Good deal.
Just 'cause you guys are more likely to survive an attack than Alia.
Is it a dexterity saving throw?
Yeah, so everyone needs to make a dex save.
Ooh.
16.
Okay.
What's the dex modifier? It's +4 on saving throws. And this is saving throw? Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah, dex save.
Can you just
Roll 12? Yeah. Okay.
read the description? What kind of light does this spell produce? It only outlines them in kind of a neon glow.
Yeah,
That's why I
so-
always loved it.
Each object in a 20-foot cube within range is outlined in a blue, green, or violet. My choice. It's going to be blue. Any creature in this area, when the spell is cast, is outlined in light if it fails a dexterity saving throw. For the duration, objects and affected creatures shed dim light in a 10-foot radius. Any attack roll against an affected creature or object has advantage and can see it, and the affected creatures or objects can't benefit from being invisible.
Can't benefit from being invisible. Okay.
Yep, cannot benefit from invisibility.
Well, there's dim light off of those two and the.
Yep.
Wait, can
And
I
so
say
the save for it, I don't know if everybody rolled, was 13.
13. Okay, so Ren saves, Opal fails, and it fails. It is now outlined in blue.
And is that,
What kind of shape
is
are we
that
looking?
No.
concentration?
It is concentration. And so after Moss casts the spell, Moss wants to position himself so he's hiding behind the paladin. Opal.
That's that.
I didn't know one that's glowing.
Yeah.
All right. Barren, it is your turn as you just come into this room and you see what you see.
Okay. Sorry, I gotta put the little lad down this way for a second so I can do this. As Barren comes into the room, and just sees this all going down, he'll go ahead and just quickly, essentially grab. Let me see. Who's in front of me right now?
Probably Alia.
I'm gonna go ahead and bait and switch with Alia. So me and her are gonna switch places. So I'm gonna be in front of her.
Do you need to be able to see? Like you can see the outlines of the other half of the room.
I can see, Chase. I have blind sight.
Oh yes, you're.
I can see it.
Sorry, my bad.
Nope, you're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and bait and switch with Alia, and then I roll a d8. And I'm gonna add that to my armor class. So since she's behind me now, and I'm gonna take a +6 to my armor. So that'll put me at 21 AC until I believe it's until the end of or the beginning of my next turn. I'll have to double check that. But so I'm gonna bait and switch, and then as a bonus action, I'm gonna quickly. Oh, I gotta make sure that that's not a bonus action. Give me 1 second. Bait and switch. Within 5 feet, dwelling creature. Roll dice. Okay. Main AC bonus. Until start of next turn. Okay, yeah. Until the start of my next turn. Sorry. So I'm gonna do bait and switch, and then as a bonus action, I'm gonna unhook one of my oil flasks, and just in the same motion as I'm going to strike, I'm gonna douse my whip with oil.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and make an attack roll.
All right.
And we have advantage, right?
You do.
Does a 23 hit?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. And I will go ahead and roll. I need my triangle. That's gonna be 7 points of slashing damage as I just come in and just as I release it and just with my finger like I throw the whip and it looks like it's going straight and it's gonna miss, and then I take my other finger and I curve it so it comes side angle and hits it.
As you take it out and hit it, you leave a good scratch as you kind of pull and tear at this shadowy essence that it's made out of. Though the whip being what it is doesn't seem to do as much damage as you would like it to do to this creature. With that, it is its turn. With its bonus action, even though it is still lit up, it is going to take the bonus action hide action. What's everyone's passive perception?
17.
Okay. I think you're the highest.
Mine is 13, but I can sense whenever anyone is within 10 feet of me.
And I'm 40.
And you still have divine sense, and you have the detect poison, the disease, and disease. So,
But when Piggy
For
enters the
those-
room, she won't be able to see it.
who can sense?
Yeah.
And for those who have blind sight, you see this shadow basically morphosize itself into the darkness around you. Even though it's still kind of lit up, it rolled higher than your passive perception, Moss. Those who can still sense it see it take the dash action and run past Barren out through the door and into the night. Barren, you do get one opportunity attack on it as it will have to pass through your space. Both you and Opal, you guys get those. You can take an attack of opportunity, but you can't use spells. You'd have to use a dagger, just because you don't have ritual caster.
Is this still with advantage because it's fairy fire?
Yes.
Okay.
And I use that.
Actually, yes, it is. It's just for those who can't sense it, they can't see it at all. So, since Ren and Opal can sense it, Alia, you have no way of telling and discerning where it's at since it is hidden to you.
Okay.
And to Moss. So these two are the only ones, as well as Barren, who can deal opportunity attacks on it. Let's see.
Assuming that Pinky won't see it.
Think you won't see it.
Okay. Cool.
I would like you three to do opportunity attacks as it is trying to get out of you.
Can I use attached magic?
What do you mean?
Can I use Sacred Flame?
You cannot for an opportunity attack.
Um,
So you have
Yeah. I'm not swing my ass.
you can swing your axe.
I rolled the same number. I got a 23
Okay, that'll hit.
to hit, and I'm gonna do a tripping attack.
Okay.
It needs to make. Let me double check what it needs to make. Needs to make a saving throw, strength saving throw.
So as you go to trip it, it is immune to the condition of being prone. So whether or not it fails or succeeds, it's not going to make a difference, though you do get to add the extra
I do
damage.
get to add the extra damage. Okay. Hold on, I'm missing my dice. I gotta grab all the stuff.
Can I use my second roll?
Do you have inspiration for anything?
No, not that I marked. I don't think I've been given inspiration.
Or
Do I have
I got
anything on
13
here?
points of damage total.
I would say Opal, since you can sense it, you do get advantage on it because it also has the fairy fire effect still on it. So yes. You got 13 points of damage. What's that have?
Either round up or round down.
I usually round down.
Okay.
I will also round down for you guys as well. So if you take damage, it's rounded down if you have it halved. What do you get for your roll?
Man-made 20.
That will hit.
Man-made. Electro.
That will also hit. Natural.
Can I use 2 hands?
Yes, you can.
4 damage. That's already halved.
That is halved.
Yeah, I did 9.
Okay.
Does it need to be half or whatever?
For you, as you
It has a cool name though.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, as you guys see Opal brandish her axe, most of the times in daylight, it doesn't seem to be anything too spectacular. As she seems to brandish it here in this darkness, it almost seems to have like this almost amber-esque glow coming from its filigree of her symbol. Especially with something like this around. As she goes and hits it, what do you roll for damage?
I'm gonna. Oh, hold on. Still plus the 4, right? Just regularly, just like the actual 2 days.
Yes.
That is the 13.
So a 13. So yeah, as it is kind of dodging and weaving, it takes a couple hits from the soup, but as you see, Opal kind of is able to put herself in between it and the doorway, and she just takes her axe in 2 hands and goes and cleaves straight through it. As it hits the shadow, you can see it burn as a flash of light starts crystallizing it, lighting the room up as it is vanquished. You see that bright light has been shown from her axe, and it is, for the time being, for the next little while, it is glowing as her axe, also known as Shadowrend, is fulfilling its purpose.
Heck yeah.
To rend
As-
the shadows.
As the bright light slowly and the glow from her axe slowly fades, that is where we're going to end it for tonight.
Oh,
Dang.
man.
Good job. I was pretty sure I was going to hopefully get out of there, but you guys did pretty good.
I'm sure Pinky's like, oh, the lights are out. Oh, there's a flash. Oh, there's another one. What's going on?
Yeah, there's a raid going on. thank you guys for playing D&D with me. And thank you for everyone who is watching or listening, either on the stream or on the podcast. We appreciate you. We are grateful to be back at it with our Vigils of Yavna out there trying to protect those who can't do it themselves, from the dark, evil things coming out of people's mouths. With that, dungeon.
Dungeon.
Dungeon.